Hi, I'm Professor Sheahan Virgin of the Department of Political Science at Grinnell College. I'm also an alumnus of the college. The Rosenfield program has invited me, and in separate videos my colleagues as well, to comment on the startling events of January 6th, 2021. For the first time in the modern era, America witnessed a group of domestic insurrectionists storm, breach, and ransack the United States Capitol building. The divisive and incendiary rhetoric of the outgoing incumbent, President Donald Trump, is what appears to have incited the rioters. The president has maintained that the 2020 presidential election was fraudulently rigged against him. There is, however, according to electoral law and cybersecurity experts, no legitimacy to his assertions. I urge each of you to take a moment to view the images and listen to the audio that documents the damage of January 6th. And that security adjustments will be made for future events, we are unlikely to ever see something like this again. As you watch and listen, remember, the duly elected chief executive of the United States openly encouraged his supporters to march on the U.S. Capitol with its duly elected legislators inside. Simply put, it's unprecedented. It's an American tragedy, and it's anti-democratic. I'd like to take a moment to discuss how we got here. How is it that one of the world's most highly scored and longest lasting democracies found itself in this moment? The answer, and it doesn't take a political scientist to tell you this, as you have no doubt experienced it for yourself, is that the people of the United States are divided. A yawning chasm of opinion and lifestyle has formed between progressive Americans and conservative Americans, and it continues to widen. The signs are obvious. The typical survey respondent nowadays tells polling firms that she hates the other side and views its members as un-American. She likely condones rhetoric that dehumanizes the other side as, for example, rats or pigs or monsters. And she likely has no interest in allowing members of the other side into her social circle, whether as a friend, neighbor, coworker, family member, or romantic partner. Political scientists refer to these kinds of sentiments as affective polarization. Here, affective refers to an emotional evaluation of a subject, and polarization means that the two groups are in the process of moving apart from each other. When we put the two words together, the definition is clear. Emotions such as fear and revulsion have driven conservative and progressive Americans into two hostile camps. Affective polarization is a symptom of social identity run amok. Social identity theory, as political scientists call it, posits that human beings yearn to live within and to be part of groups. Examples are racial, gender, national, religious, socioeconomic, and yes, partisan too. Social identity theory further argues that people take pride in identifying with a group. It makes them feel like they're part of something bigger, a team of like-minded individuals who share a common destiny and linked fate. In short, the group identity becomes central to the individual's sense of self. This mindset is naturally antagonistic and zero-sum. The group I identify with is us, we, the good ones. The group that opposes us is them, they, the bad ones. As they gain, perhaps in power or resources, we lose. As we gain, they lose. After rioters breached the Capitol, President Trump released a video of himself in which he asked the insurrectionists to, quote, go home now, end quote. But the remainder of his remarks was textbook social identity theory. He told the rioters, quote, we love you very much, end quote. And he said of individuals opposed to the president as, quote, they stole the election from us, end quote. I'm not here to fault Americans for being affectively polarized. It's natural, and indeed, this kind of thinking happens inside my brain too. Yet though it is natural, this does not mean it's a good thing. Us versus them thinking is poisonous to democracy, which at its core boils down to two foundational principles. First, that all citizens of the society have the equal opportunity to participate in decision-making. And second, that in large-scale representative democracy, governing officials derive their power from the consent of the people. Think now about how affective polarization undermines the logic of each principle. If I believe that the other side is un-American or subhuman or is out to ruin the country, why, first of all, would I ever agree to its equal participation in politics? And second, why would I ever consent to some of its group members ruling over me? But it gets worse. Affective polarization is what we call a positive feedback loop. That is, the process creates outputs that in turn further fuel or energize the next round of the process. Put this way, affective polarization produces events like those on January 6th, which, having unfolded, in turn furthers or worsens affective polarization. It's a cycle. How so? Well, I guarantee you that there are supporters of President Trump out there who view the insurrectionists as heroes or patriots fighting for us against them. And dare I say, you may have found yourself thinking as follows: how could they have done this to us, to our capital? See, fuel added to the social identity fire. I need to wrap up. So where does this leave America? Well, first of all, affective polarization is here to stay. It will not dissipate once President Trump leaves office or is removed from office. President-elect Biden will inherit from his predecessor a psychologically fractured, perhaps even broken nation. Insurrectionist episodes based on us versus them thinking may continue throughout his term.